Over 115,000 people are flooding the streets right now. And the most shocking part? The man expected to challenge this power grab is saying absolutely nothing. Stay with me, because what's happening next could change everything.
Welcome to Power and Policy UK, your frontline source for the latest political news, analysis, and breaking events shaping the nation. Breaking news is unfolding right now, and the scale of what we're seeing cannot be ignored. Just hours ago, reports confirmed that more than 115,000 people have taken to the streets across the country, transforming city centers into waves of movement, noise, and urgency. The demonstrations erupted rapidly, spreading from one major city to another as anger and frustration reached a boiling point. At the heart of this unrest lies a single explosive issue: the occupation of military barracks and the continued silence from labor leader Keir Starmer. From early morning, crowds began forming in unexpected numbers. What started as scattered gatherings quickly escalated into one of the largest coordinated street mobilizations seen in recent months. Protesters marched through main roads, filled public squares, and surrounded government buildings, carrying banners, chanting slogans, and demanding answers. Many described a shared feeling of being ignored, unheard, and dismissed by those in power. The central grievance focuses on the ongoing occupation of barracks, a situation critics say raises serious legal, ethical, and humanitarian concerns. Protesters argue that the use of military facilities for civilian or enforcement purposes has crossed a line, symbolizing a broader shift toward authoritarian responses rather than transparent political solutions. For many demonstrators, this issue is no longer abstract. It represents a direct threat to civil norms and democratic accountability. What has intensified the outrage is the response, or rather the lack of one, from Keir Starmer. As leader of the opposition, many expected Starmer to address the issue head-on, either by condemning the occupation, calling for parliamentary scrutiny, or at the very least acknowledging the public's concerns. Instead, hours passed with no statement, no press conference, and no visible engagement. That silence has become a powerful catalyst, turning frustration into fury. On the streets, protesters voiced a range of emotions. Some spoke of betrayal, claiming that opposition leaders are meant to challenge controversial government actions, not avoid them. Others expressed disappointment, saying that silence in moments like this feels like complicity. Chants echoed through city centers, demanding accountability, transparency, and leadership. The absence of a response became a message in itself, one many found unacceptable. Social media amplified the demonstrations at lightning speed. Live streams, drone footage, and real-time updates flooded platforms, pushing the story into trending territory within minutes. Videos showed endless lines of people marching, police struggling to manage road closures, and crowds swelling well beyond initial estimates. Hashtags calling out Starmer's silence surged, with users questioning where the opposition stands when it matters most. Political analysts are already warning that this moment could carry lasting consequences. Public perception is shaped not just by what leaders say, but by when they say it. In moments of crisis, hesitation can be interpreted as avoidance, and silence can look like indifference. For an opposition leader trying to present himself as a credible alternative government, failing to respond to a mass mobilization of this scale may prove costly. Meanwhile, government officials have attempted to downplay the protests, describing them as managed and contained. Yet images from the ground tell a different story. Streets overwhelmed, transport disrupted, and policing resources stretched thin. Local authorities have issued advisories urging people to avoid city centers, while emergency services remain on high alert. As evening approached, there were growing concerns about how the situation might escalate. Protest organizers urged participants to remain peaceful, but tensions were clearly rising. The longer the silence continued, the more determined the crowds appeared. Some demonstrators vowed to stay overnight, framing the protest not as a single event, but the beginning of sustained pressure. The barracks occupation itself remains shrouded in uncertainty. Details about who authorized it, how long it will continue, and what legal framework supports it are still unclear. This lack of transparency has only fueled speculation and distrust. Protesters argue that if the government has nothing to hide, it should be willing to explain its actions openly, and if the opposition truly represents the people, it should demand those explanations. What makes this moment especially significant is the diversity of those involved. Protesters include students, workers, veterans, families, and activists from across the political spectrum. Many insist this is not about party loyalty, but about principles. They say democracy depends on accountability from all sides, not selective outrage or strategic silence. As night falls, the pressure on political leaders continues to mount. Every minute without a response adds weight to the narrative forming in public consciousness. Silence is being interpreted, debated, and criticized in real time. Commentators are already asking whether this moment will mark a turning point, either forcing a statement or reshaping public trust altogether. One thing is undeniable. 115,000 people do not take to the streets without a reason. This is not a fringe reaction or a minor disturbance. It is a mass expression of concern, anger, and demand for leadership. Whether those demands are met remains to be seen. As this story continues to develop, all eyes remain fixed on Westminster, waiting for a response that so far has not come. Will Keir Starmer break his silence? Will the government address the growing unrest? Or will the streets continue to speak louder than those in power? This is a rapidly evolving situation, and updates could come at any moment. What happens next may shape the political landscape in ways that extend far beyond today's protests. Stay informed, stay aware, and watch closely, because this story is far from over. Thanks for watching Power and Policy UK. Subscribe now for updates, insights, and the stories that really matter in British politics.